Hello all, my name is Casey Telemontes and I'm going to be doing an introduction on the food insecurity. So for Healthy People 2030, one of the goals was to reduce household food insecurity and hunger. The United States is among one of the top food supply countries in the world, yet we still have a rising number of food insecure people. Food insecurity is defined as not having access to sufficient food or food of inadequate quality to meet a person's basic needs. This healthy people goal is getting worse. 2013, it was 11.1% of the United States population was food insecure or hungry, and in 2023, just 10 years later, it raised 2.5% to 13.5% of the United States population being food insecure. Food insecurity is linked to several different health outcomes in children and adults. The significance of food insecurity and why it's important for the United States is addressing that it is imperative to improve these hungry, food insecure people, and it has the potential to increase health factors for individuals or health factors that would include chronic diseases, malnutrition, and compromised immune systems. Chronic diseases such as diabetes or cardiac issues are most common. The high blood pressure is significant with healthy and unhealthy food and leading to many different issues, including chronic illnesses, which are on a complete rise in the United States. So it also improves education in children who would normally have attention issues due to the food quality and improves the economic status and overall American health scale for disease prevention. Some challenges that we face with food insecurity is that the agricultural climate issue that prevents farming in certain areas, creating an increasing cost of food. So that could be any kind of climate changes or any kind of topsoil issues that may happen in your farming or agricultural places. And then we have the lack of access to markets or grocery stores. So that could be anywhere as far as you might just be 30 minutes away from a local grocery store. So it might be not convenient for you to move forward and go get the healthiest option. Instead, you could go to that local McDonald's because it's faster. Or you just don't have time as a big family in a rural area. It also brings issue to the fact that just everything is inconvenient in rural areas. But conflicts aside, in the United States can also cause a lot of food insecurity. So if there is kind of some war going on in, say, Ukraine or any other place like there is, there might be an increase in getting those exported or imported here into the United States, which can cause high prices of food costs and makes it even more difficult for people with low income or medium income to even get the food security that they need as a household. And then there's the issue of uneven distribution, which can cause waste and inefficient, which can cause food waste and inefficient distribution of food, leading to a surplus in some places and scarcity in others. That's why we find that we still are getting, we have an abundant amount of food waste for the amount of people who are also food insecure, which is something very interesting just for the United States alone. So going into some of the statistics, these are based in 2023, so obviously it's 2025, so things may have changed even more sufficiently as far as there has been inflation every year. So the cost of food has yet again increased in these years. But as of 2023, in the United States, 12.5 adult Americans have sometime or not eaten enough in one day, at least claimed by themselves. And then the number of households with children that are food insecure, which is 12.9%, which 12.9% doesn't sound like a lot, but if you look at a number of 6.5 million households and you know how much the United States makes in food and how much they serve in the import-export of food in general, then 6.5 million people, that's a problem, especially in the United States. And then we have 47.4 million people lived in food insecure households at some point. So you can see the statistics on the fact that these are from my fact sheet from before. But you can see that in the U.S. households by food security status in 2023, and by food security status for children, and that is the top one, the gold number here. So you can see that there's low and very low, and then just regular food insecure at the very top there. So even very low food insecurity among children is still 1%, but low food security among children is almost 8%. And that is a lot just for children not being able to eat sufficiently. And that's imperative. Okay, I messed up there for a little bit. I accidentally skipped a slide. I had to figure it out. Anyway, so now I'm going to go into the risk factors graphic here. So as you can see, I think my little bubble kind of covers up a little part here, but it has the risk factors here. It's not always your fault. Food insecurity risks factors include lack of affordability of housing, low incomes, limited access to healthy foods, and high costs of foods, and then underlying health issues that you've already had can be very costly as well. So then it also takes into the cost of your food itself. And then lack of support, so lack of your social environment being able to assist you. So the question is, are you part of the 18 million that can afford healthy food? So the goal is to at least empower the knowledge of these people and also get a better gauge of whether or not people are falling short of their health factors nowadays, with it being 2 years difference from the statistics that I mentioned before. So that's pretty much what this graphic is explaining, is that you have this person here, he's not making enough money, he's not being able to afford, the economy is going down, everything's going down, and because of that, the cost of everything is up, and you can't afford to eat your healthy food options, which is a really, really big cause of food insecurity now. All right, so now this graphic is going into the statistics. So like I said in the statistics slide, and just the 12.5% of households, 12.9% of households with children, and 47.4 million people live in the United States with food insecurity or hunger. So this is just kind of a shout out saying the information, the facts of what is going on in the United States, and why this is so important for people to pay attention to. I like to make it extremely simple and basic just so that everybody can kind of see exactly what the statistics say. I didn't want to make it too convoluted. So that's this slide. Okay, so this is one of my favorite ones that I did because I think prevention is the most important thing, especially like primary cares and all kinds of different healthcare preventions. This is super important in actually establishing a difference in the United States. So what I found in methods in different countries that they use to make sure that children and families are food insecure is that they promote nutrition in education for young students in their elementary and primary schools. So to promote this, I mean, they prepare their food fresh every day with fresh ingredients, and they do it in front of the children so that they can learn exactly how to prepare these foods with fresh ingredients and nutritious value. And then they have education on the food necessities. There's so much food that's enticing to children that is of not good caloric quality. They have the calories, but they don't have the sufficient foods for a child to not become malnutritious or have deficiencies in vitamins or minerals. So educating what foods and how they affect your body and how to eat them is important, especially for children as they're growing. So, and that can also be fostered with agricultural education and how to garden and how to make their own foods in their own yards, and so on and so forth. So this is just a really good prevention method, but it's not the only prevention method. There's several different ways that we can improve food insecurity just with prevention in America. Finally, this last graphic is going to be the call to action post. So we want everyone to be part of the difference. We want our children and our adults to learn how to take care of the earth and to further the food future for food education in the United States. We are becoming vastly more aware of what is in our foods and what it's doing to our bodies as time goes on, and we are learning that food took a dive in quality quite some time back, and we're trying to alleviate those bad qualities that did exist at one point. So hopefully we can improve these entirely and move forward with our food education. So here we have some available resources for people who may actually be in food insecure locations and ways that they can use resources for food insecurity, such as the first one is feedingamerica.org. So this is going to be for the whole America, how you can help with food insecurity. And then we have the Swipe Hunger, which is another America resource. And Georgia, we have 2 Georgia resources here, and then an Atlanta resource. So being that we live in Atlanta, we can have a very close community or a farther out community, or even further out community in America than Georgia or Atlanta, depending on where you're located, because not everybody's located in Atlanta. So at least we have different resources for all locations. And this is going to show you where food hubs are so that you can donate if you need to, or if you can, and also where you could pick up food if you have issues with food insecurity yourself. So these are great resources to just have food available for people who cannot afford it at this time, or who may not be close to any locations of grocery stores or fresh food other than these hubs. So these are great online resources moving forward. And then finally, I just have my recited websites here. These are all the resources I used to get this information to you today. Well, I hope you enjoyed, and that is all.